From the studios of KENW on the campus of Eastern New Mexico University, it's You Should Know, featuring the people and events of Eastern New Mexico and West Texas.
Welcome to You Should Know. I'm your host, Evelyn Ledbetter, and we're in for a really fun treat today. We have Chef Johnny Vee from Santa Fe here with us this morning.
So nice to be back at KENW.
So nice. It's been a long hiatus.
It's been a long time. I'm so glad to see the changes of the kitchen. Looks great.
Well, and you're the first cooking episode that we're going to have.
Oh, I love it. I'm breaking it in.
You and Cheryl worked with each other, Warden, on Creative Living for a long time. So thrilled that you're willing to come back.
Nice to meet you.
And,
fun.
And train me.
Good.
You have a cooking school there in Santa Fe.
So I've been doing classes at my cooking school for 25 years.
Okay.
Can't believe it. And we do all different topics. We do a lot of New Mexico stuff. I would say 60% of my business students are visiting Santa Fe from out of state.
That makes
and
sense.
then 40% locals.
Okay.
So the biggest kick they get, of course, is when we teach them about chilies, because they're like, what's all this excitement about chilies? And we're like, this is our baby.
Food.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but we do all different topics. We do baking, we do Thai, Vietnamese, Indian, vegetarian, and stuff. But this is probably my favorite.
Well, what are we going to? Obviously, we're going to do chilies.
I know. And thank you for arranging these gorgeous chilies.
Very welcome.
These are bigger than I've seen even in Santa Fe. These, I think you told me, are Big Jims.
This is the Big Jim variety.
Which was actually bred to be bigger.
Right. It actually
and meatier.
Yeah, New Mexico State University is one of theirs, and they're New Mexico.
And I love, that university has a chili institute.
They do, with Paul Boslin.
Yeah. And you can actually study that as a career.
Exactly.
I love it.
So, yeah, this is our Big Jim, so it's nice right here in New Mexico when they're fresh. And these were actually roasted last night. So
gorgeous. So the season is pretty much coming to an end. But if you can see, of course, a lot of people don't realize that green chilies become red chilies.
Right.
And they're like, oh, I like green chili sauce better because it's different from red. But, of course, the green we pick, right up until now. And then if we leave them to ripen, they become red. And I love how you can see that this one is on its way.
A lot of people call this a harvest blend or a harvest roast where it starts to turn a little orange before it turns red. But they are beautiful.
Now, what do you think? Do you think green are hotter or red? What do you think?
Actually, I have a little background in chili, but if it's a hot green, it's going to be a hot red.
Yeah, I agree.
So the only difference is when that sugar content changes and it starts to ripen.
Yeah.
It gets a little more sweeter, but it's going to have the same intensity.
Yeah, and boy, you can. Do you know how you can tell? Do you ever determine how hot a chili is?
I have done that before.
Do you do it by the shape?
No. Actually, these are the varieties that are grown determine their heat pretty much, but you can pop a chili.
Yeah, a lot of people put it in their mouth or smell it.
Oh,
yes.
And so it's not the
Touch
seeds.
it to your lip.
It's not the seeds that are hot. It's that orange vein that's the capsaicin. So I'll let you taste it, but I'm not.
Well, no, there were chefs that were cooking with chilies of undetermined heat and not telling anybody.
Oh.
And if it varied restaurant or dish to dish, it was crazy. So then look at how beautiful this is. So many people don't realize to cook with chilies, you want to roast and peel them.
Right.
Couple things. First of all, when you roast them, look at that baby. When you do that, we do this to be able to make it easy to peel, but you do develop this wonderful smokiness to it. I don't dip it in water. I tend to put it on a board and just gently scrape off the burn or the char. And then we mentioned earlier, if you leave a little bit on, that's okay, because that's actually got a little bit of flavor. You don't want too much, but these are beautifully cleaned. And then a lot of people, of course, so in my classes, I do 3 different batters. One is a beer batter, which is more like tempura batter, which is a crunchy one.
Right.
Probably the one restaurants do more in New Mexico is what I call souffle batter, which is the eggy one.
Right.
But today, we're going to make a blue corn batter. I've made it for you. And this is the only batter you can really bake your rellenos easily and still get some crispiness to them.
Because most of them get soggy.
They get soft.
Pretty instant.
Yeah. Another thing I do, which is different from a lot of local people, is I don't split my chili open when I stuff it. I make a little tiny half-inch slice at the top, and then
This is new to me.
Yeah, this is sort of my little version. These are sharp cheddar cheese, and we cut them into little batons, if you will. And what you're going to do is hold up the chili and slide as many pieces of cheese.
So you're just sliding those in there.
Slide them in. Get 3 or 4. Let it go down in there. And then one time I was doing this on TV and I was facing the camera and the cheese was falling out the back. And we got ready to eat it. Like, there's no cheese in there. So get it nice and plump. Now, of course,
so
this
you
could be...
you just use the one slot. You don't put any all the way around, just one.
Just that one little hole.
And that way it doesn't leak out.
It doesn't leak, and then all you have to do is cover that up with your batter. So and then the seeds definitely have some heat. Mm-hmm. So when you eat your chili relleno, avoid that last bite. And all of that is pretty much seedless.
Right, yeah.
So,
that's a big help on that.
then I would drain this just on a little paper just to get rid of some of that moisture. And then my batter is blue corn batter. And you can pretty much, you might have to buy blue corn meal outside of New Mexico online. But here, most of our grocery stores have blue corn. And if you can see the color of the batter, it's the most beautiful, almost purple. So this does have regular flour, all-purpose, and blue cornmeal, and actually buttermilk and eggs. So in a way, it's like a blue corn pancake batter.
Okay.
And the same thickness as a pancake batter. And then, as I mentioned, you can fry that batter, but I kind of like that you can bake it and make it a little bit healthier. I don't know if I would say they're super healthy, but hey, chili is
What
really good.
kind of
for
oil do you use when you,
So I usually
fry
use
these?
peanut oil is good because it's got a high smoking point, but it's more expensive. Soybean oil or veggie oil is okay. So when you bake these, we're going to batter them and then lightly spray them with veggie oil and then bake them for about 12 minutes at 400. And I'll pull one out in a minute and show you that they get crispy and a little bit less caloric. Some fun facts about chilies. All chilies lower cholesterol, lower blood pressure, natural antioxidants.
They're healthy.
Very healthy for you. One green chili has 6 times the amount of vitamin C of an orange.
Isn't that amazing?
Which is amazing. Red chili, once it changes, that vitamin C goes to vitamin A because of the ripening.
Right.
So really good health benefits. We talk about people getting addicted to chilies. So chili is a nightshade. What other nightshades are people addicted to? Tobacco, potatoes. So we maybe, when people say, I've left New Mexico, I need my chili, it really could come from a nightshade that you're really craving.
My father-in-law, he said, this is actually, I'm addicted, but it's a legal addiction.
Exactly, yeah, a good one. So all we're going to do is, let me stuff another one.
Okay.
And these are beautifully peeled. Look at that big boy. So just put a little slice up here.
Yeah, the big gems are such a nice meaty chili.
Yeah, if the flesh is skinny, then they're hard to peel.
And it just pokes through.
It just tears.
Yeah. So I think this is kind of the go-to in New Mexico for the chili relleno type chili.
And this could be other cheeses. This could be, what I do in Santa Fe is a blue cheese stuffed, and I form little fingers of blue cheese and freeze it.
Very smart.
And then when you slide that in, it's yummy.
Because I like ranchero, which is a soft white.
Yeah,
and I was thinking, how would you do that? But to freeze it.
Yeah, and make sure it's cold. Then what I do, Evelyn, is I just lay it on top and spoon the batter over it. And when I shop for chilies, or pick them, look for ones with a little stem because that gives you something those are perfect.
To hang on to.
And then I'm going to let that extra batter drip down. It doesn't have to be too thick.
And people always ask why you roast them, but when that peel gets heated, it starts coming loose.
Yeah, and otherwise the batter would be all fall off,
And you just get the pethy part of the peel in your mouth, so you definitely skin them.
Okay, so those will do. And then that's on parchment paper just so they don't stick.
Yeah, because that would be messy.
And then you'd be like, no, I don't want to lose mine. Just a light layer of veggie oil.
And then flip it.
Actually, I'm just going to do that top.
Okay.
And then this will go in a 400-degree oven, sort of in the middle. And I will set a timer for 10, let's do 12 minutes.
Okay.
Make sure your oven is accurate. And then through the miracle of modern television,
It's amazing, isn't
look
it?
at this. It's
Ta-da.
a miracle.
Ta-da.
So you can see how they lose a little bit of the color of the batter, but
I remember in
So-
home ec, they always said you wanted things with color.
Yeah.
And this gives a very
Absolutely.
unique,
Oop, that stuck a little bit. Anyway,
very unique.
so what we'll do to serve it, a lot of people, once again, pour the chili sauce over the chili, but I think you'll lose some of that. All you taste is the sauce. So I am going to put my New Mexico red chili sauce down first, and then lay ooh, look at this.
And we're going to go backwards, right? And you're going to teach us how to make that?
Yeah, so
Okay.
we'll talk about, and there's a couple of companies, of course, that make really good red chili sauce too. So just a
I actually put a lot of mine up in the wet reds and puree it and just freeze it in containers.
And it's
so
ready to go.
anything I want to add to, I can.
Yeah, so I actually do use red chili powder. A lot of people poo-poo that, but I
No,
think
it is good.
it saves you. And then we'll lay these right on top,
Very nice.
and then a little cilantro. My cilantro's wilting in the heat. And there's our little New Mexico green chili, blue corn chili relleno
That looks
with
wonderful.
New Mexico red chili
Oh,
sauce.
look at that. That's really nice.
Now I'm hungry.
Yeah. yeah.
So
So you came all the way from Santa Fe. You're going to stay and show us some more
I'm going to
things.
show you some more recipes. I love it. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, so let's take just a quick minute.
Quick
and-
break.
Quick break, have a
Reset.
little bit of coffee and clean up and go again?
Good.
All
Coffee,
right.
definitely.
Okay, gotcha. You promised after we had our cup of coffee, you would tell us a little bit about how you made that red chili sauce.
I know. You got it. I think a relleno deserves a good red chili sauce. And it's a perfect marriage. You've got a green chili and a red chili sauce. So we were talking about that the green chili becomes a red chili.
Mm-hmm.
And many people in New Mexico use the chili pods to make the sauce.
Sure.
Takes a little bit longer because you do have to seed them. I toast them a little bit, blend them with some sort of stock, cook them, and then blend them, strain them. But in New Mexico, when you buy red chili powder, it is pure ground chili.
Exactly.
No seasoning, no salt, no spices.
Right.
So you do season it up a little bit, but I think it's a good shortcut. Also, then visitors to New Mexico can take our chili powder home with them and make them.
And fresh chili is very difficult to,
Yeah, and
and
the
to hit the
season
season.
ends. Yeah.
And it's either frozen or,
Now, another thing I mentioned, if you see chili ristras, some people will cook with the ristras that are strung, but if you buy one, make sure it hasn't been bug sprayed or shellacked.
exactly.
One time in a class, I made a joke. If you wanted to kill somebody, you could make red chili sauce that's been bug sprayed out of the ristra. And a woman in the class said to her sister, "What a great idea." And her sister said, "Is everything okay in your marriage?" So So don't use the Reese President bug spray. So,
unless you want to be on on people's most wanted,
if you want to be on TV, exactly. So I use both hot and mild red chili powder,
Okay.
cumin, which I love, and I toast it first. And then another spice we use here called Mexican oregano, which is in the oregano family, but it's more like mint. And then I usually make my sauce with a veggie stock,
Okay.
and that's it, and a little garlic. Simmer it; it'll thicken slightly. The chili powder has a bit of a thickening agent, and then just taste it.
Okay.
And then, as I said, I use this for my tamales, and if I wanted to make red chili enchiladas,
Everything.
that's your sauce.
And just easy.
So yeah, easy to go.
Okay.
And freeze it. It freezes well. Some people freeze it in little cups, and then you've got a quarter cup that you can pull out.
Okay. Well, great. Well,
So,
moving
yum,
on.
yum.
You have thank you for that.
Yeah.
Everybody has a different way of making sauce, but we're going to move on to something special.
Something else. So, in Santa Fe, I was actually this past year a guest curator at our beautiful New Mexico History Museum. And we did an exhibit, which is up till next July, on 50 years of restaurant history in New Mexico. So I curated this beautiful exhibit. I didn't create the exhibit, but pulled together the ideas. And we included recipes from all over recipes and restaurants from all over the state. So you go to this big room in the Palace of the Governors, and there's displays. We even have a little smell-o-vision box where you can smell green chili, red chili, cumin, sopapillas.
Instead of perfume.
Instead of perfume. And we did a series of events celebrating our historical cuisine. There's a wonderful cookbook that we do, you'll find this online, but they sell at the museum, called A Painter's Kitchen, and a local woman in Santa Fe, who's a friend of mine, Margaret Wood, worked for George O'Keeffe, I think when she was from 89 to 94, Georgia, in Abiquiu. Margaret was a college student, was in New Mexico, and somebody said, oh, George O'Keeffe needs an assistant. Do you want to? And she didn't think good or bad. She said, yeah, I'll do it. So she was her night assistant, came in the afternoon, cooked George's dinner, and then stayed overnight to be there.
Very nice.
And if you know anything about Abiquiu, where Georgia lived,
Beautiful.
She grew pretty much everything she cooked with. She had orchards, apples, and pears, an amazing garden, grew most of her vegetables, and she was a very healthy eater, which is probably why she lived to be 96 or whatever she was.
Sure.
So we did a presentation where Margaret, and in that book are some gorgeous pictures of Georgia in her kitchen, Georgia digging in the garden, a gorgeous shot of Georgia's apron just hanging in the kitchen with, I think, over 50 recipes. So we did a luncheon to promote this exhibit that we did with Margaret. And one of the recipes we did was this delicious, simple soup, which I now am doing for a lot of different events. So after Margaret worked for Georgia, I think for about 4 months, the woman she took over from left a 3x5 box of recipes that Georgia loved. So Margaret was cooking from there. And Margaret tells the story. After 4 months or so, Georgia said, let's talk about how I like to cook. So Margaret's like, oh, okay, I'll cook your way. Anyway, this is a very simple soup using avocados, milk, curry powder. Georgia made an herb salt with kosher salt and some dried herbs and a little bit of white pepper. Bada bing, bada bang.
That's it. Simple,
so
simple.
Remember when you shop for avocados, they should yield a little bit. You want them to squeeze a little bit. We cut that open, and then in the blender, I'm going to throw in the super blender. Now, when you use the blender, it's important to always put your liquid in first, because that helps facilitate your blending. And then I'm just going to scoop my little, oh, these are beautiful.
Do you ripen yours in a bag or leave them on the counter if they're not quite right?
If you can, be careful. And they say if you leave the pit in there for a while, it keeps it from browning. I think the little avocado thinks it's still avocado.
It's still
Well,
is alive.
people put it in there. Yeah, they put it in their guacamole. Oops.
When I do mine, sometimes I'll spritz it with a little lemon juice.
Oh, that's a great, yeah. and
Because
lime,
I
yeah.
like to put a little in my guacamole
Yeah.
anyway. And keep it
So
from...
these, I usually do one for this order, this recipe, but these were little, so. And we're so lucky. We get such great avocados here, except, of course, before Super Bowl Sunday.
And then
Rarely will you find
you better buy early for that.
an avocado. I don't know where this idea of curry powder came from. Georgia did not like spicy food, but she did like this little bit.
And the curries are very strong.
Yeah, they can be. Okay, let me make sure I've got this.
And you hold off on the...
We'll test, yeah, let's do the salt.
Okay.
Okay, on. It's like an avocado smoothie like you made for breakfast.
Yeah.
Okay, now remember, we don't have salt in here yet.
Okay.
So let me avoid the spikes. Okay, so we definitely want to put, so I think this had thyme, kosher salt, and a little bit of oregano. Just remember to do that little by little because once it's in there,
You
It's
can
there.
add, you can't take
Yeah.
away. You know, your trick of always making something less salty using a potato, but
Yeah, well,
this wouldn't work.
I love it. Okay, let's see. I'm going to use a different spoon. No double dipping. So I think that's good. Now, the curry powder will continue to develop. So if you taste it,
Let's see.
oh, you got to turn it.
Yeah, there you go.
If you taste it and it's not pronounced enough, let it sort of, let the flavor develop a little bit.
Always,
And
lots
yeah.
of soups I find I like better the next day.
Oh, yeah, they
Because the
totally-
seasoning and everything.
Yeah, and especially soups with garlic in it. Oh my God. You think, oh, that's not garlic enough, and so you add more, and then you're like, whoa,
It's just overpowering.
crazy. So that's George O'Keeffe's avocado soup. Now, in the cookbook, they serve it hot, but the event we did was during the summer, and I thought, this is almost like vichyssoise. So let's serve it cold, and it was great. We'd probably do a little garnish of some something out of the garden.
So is this dishes you would serve together?
You could do. I think it'd be fun.
I was just curious if you
Yeah.
use this for your starter.
Yeah.
and
So Georgia loved New Mexico stuff, but I think because she was an older woman. Another great story Margaret told is Joni Mitchell was a George O'Keeffe fan.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow arranged to be able to come to Georgia's and spend the evening with her, and Margaret cooked their dinner. She didn't remember what she made, but I did not know that Joni Mitchell painted a lot of her album covers, her own album covers. So after she spent the evening with Georgia, she left a CD for Georgia to listen to and went home and painted Georgia O'Keeffe. So that is, Joni is still with us, and that, the original, I think she has in her estate. So it's just amazing to think of those two together.
And is this your print that you have?
Somebody, I actually copied that and blew it up for our event, for the event. Yeah, so I thought that's so interesting. So the cookbook is widely available. And Georgia, you know, she was so famous, but Margaret said didn't really act famous. You know, she was so.
We're all people.
So yeah, and I'm interested in the history of people and food, and I love knowing what people love to eat and
Sure.
what famous people eat and cook.
The first recipe, is that in your cookbook that you have here?
Yes, my cookbook. We've got both the chili relleno and the sauce.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're not only, you have written cookbooks,
So I've just written that one, but yeah, it was fun.
and you teach cooking classes. So tell me, we've just got a short
Yeah.
amount of time, but if people want to find out more about your cooking school.
Yes.
And it's not just for chefs, right?
Yeah.
You
Oh no,
said-
it's for home cooks mostly. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's called the Las Cosas Cooking School in Santa Fe, and our website is lascosascooking.com, and we do 3 to 4 classes a week.
Okay.
So there are always events or different topics to choose from.
Well, you had mentioned that Cheryl Borden had her son arranged for her to come up
Yes.
here recently for her birthday
And we
did
had-
a cooking school.
Yeah. It was so fun with some other friends that I
Right,
think you know.
right.
So
So
Yeah.
so that's that is mainly what you do?
Yeah, and then I do a little bit of catering, but mostly teaching.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's so fun.
Do you have plans for another book?
I keep thinking about it, and then I think, oh my God. Somebody said if you want to do a cookbook, go to a bookstore and see how many cookbooks are out there. And you might think, yeah, maybe not.
And
so much.
how many are in a state sale?
And yeah. So those you have to go online now to get, but they're still out there. It's funny.
Well, we're proud enough of the one that you have. It's actually part of.
I love it. The
It's here in the
collection.
kitchen all the time.
I love it.
Johnny, what a pleasure! I
Thank you
really
so much.
appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
We'll have to do this again.
And we have to sample stuff.
I agree. For all of you watching today, thank you, and we will see you again next time. Cheers.